Welcome to the Dashboard Effect Podcast. I'm Brick Thompson.
I'm Caleb Oakes.
Caleb, we wanted to talk a bit about why it often makes sense for companies to outsource the management of their data platforms.
Mm-hmm.
And, we launched a product last year called Managed Data Service. And part of that was we offered the option to host your data platform on our systems, and then we would manage it as well. We have several clients that are doing that, but we have also come to realize that even if someone's not hosting with us, there's huge value in them outsourcing the management of their data platform, even if it's running on their cloud infrastructure.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think that it's not a little thing, but it is something that I don't think is considered when people are thinking about doing stuff like this. Of course, we have to build something that's going to house our data, right? And then we've got to maintain that, and then we're going to build these reports and stuff. And really, the important piece of that is making sure that you're able to load data and it's available to the analytics that you build on top of that. And it's an interesting topic because in that type of work, there's usually a large upfront effort, right, to get the connections made, to build the platform, to get things running, to get it stable, and then after that, then it's like now we just have to maintain this thing and fix an error here or there, or maybe pull in a new piece of data once in a while, but that's it, right? So the companies are really kind of left with, I either have somebody to do a project, but then I need someone to maintain it, or I need to hire someone that's going to build this and maintain it, but after they build it, then their workload's like very small, or maybe they're the analyst, and then you're looking for that diamond in the rough type person that can do both. And anyway, it's a little bit of a challenge for especially our type of clients in that mid-market space. I
think that's right. I mean, and often the person that might build it is not that interested in maintaining it, right? Yeah. They want to go out and build other stuff. I think it can be challenging in the staffing of this, like finding that diamond in the rough, that Batman type resource that can do it all is challenging. And by outsourcing to a company like us or other people that do this, you can have a team of people that have various areas of expertise. So if a problem comes up that's unusual, we can dive into our team and find someone that's got the experience to solve that. Whereas if you have a person, so let's say you're a middle market company, you're doing 50 million or 500 million in revenues, and you got a small data team, maybe 2 or 3 people, you may not have that expertise.
Right.
So now we all do this in tech, but now they're having to educate themselves, figure it out. You could have big delays. They could make mistakes. There's a lot of challenges there. And I think on top of that, it's super expensive to maintain this team that hopefully they're working on valuable stuff in the meantime, but maintain this team to make sure that you have someone there who can solve a data pipeline issue when it comes up or something.
Yeah, you deal with the same thing that, sometimes that we had struggled with in the past, which is we have these people that know how to do this stuff. We don't have something for them to do right now, so we're going to stick them on this other project. Oh, but then now we do have something for them to do, and it's like you're kind of you would whiplash them, right, back and forth, right? Okay, they don't have pipeline failures to fix right now or maintenance to do on our data platform, so we're going to stick them on this other project. But then they keep getting pulled off to fix the failures and to maintain the data platform. So it's like you're kind of in a tough spot there.
The projects that you're hoping are going to get done are delayed.
Yeah.
They're frustrated. Yeah, it can be really challenging. I think also, one of the big concerns with managing your data platform is security, cybersecurity, also disaster recovery, so backup and getting back up. Again, another skill set. So you got to make sure that that Batman can do that as well,
right? And
that can be really challenging.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much that goes into it more than even I just described. I think you started to touch on it with disaster recovery and security and those types of things. Is that it's not just as simple as like, okay, well, we're just going to stick some data in a data lake. Like Azure, that's where we live, is so complex. There's so many things in Azure, and it can be super intimidating. Not to mention, like, you've got to figure out how to pull data out of your different systems, and Sometimes it's from a database, sometimes from an API. Like it's just a complicated thing, and it can be intimidating, and it's hard to find somebody who can just do it all, right?
Yeah.
So what I really like about the idea of like outsourcing this data platform, not only the setup, but also the management of it, is it just takes that piece out of the puzzle. Now you're looking for analysts that can connect to the data and build you the reports that you need to run your business well.
Right.
And you're not having to look for like basically a whole team. So it kind of halves the puzzle a little bit. Right?
Yeah. So those analysts can be working on very specific business problems that you need them to work on, and not be sort of dealing with the infrastructure behind the scenes as well.
Yeah. How do I go get data? Oh, it failed. Now you got to fix it. And they can just focus on building what you need them to build from the data that's now available to them, and refresh nightly. And they don't have to worry about when it fails. I got to fix it, and I got to make sure that it's backed up, and I got to make sure that, I can go get the data I need when I need it. It's just there.
Oh, yeah. Right? So many things. The data integrity. I mean, when you have a failure, hopefully you have a graceful failure. Your pipelines are set up to do that well and not corrupt your data, but, you need an expert just in case things go wrong.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah. Interesting. Do you think there's a huge advantage to hosting with an outsourced company over just outsourcing the management?
There definitely can be, right? I mean, it takes another thing off of your plate, right? So we have both scenarios, right? Like we host people's data for them in a data platform that we build, and they get access to it. And we also build that same thing on our clients' tenants. The people that have hosted with us, I think, have had a better experience because it's one less thing that they have to manage, right? Even if we do everything on the client's tenant, we still need somebody to set up the billing account. We still need people them to add us to their tenant to do the maintenance and stuff on it. There are still things that the client has to do. When it's hosted with us, it's like, okay, here's my data source. Let me know when it's ready, basically, right? And we do that for them. So it's one less burden for our clients to have. So maybe not a huge advantage, but I definitely think there's
some there. I guess there's the case where a client maybe they just have a short-term need for their data platform management, and then they don't want to go through the migration process. In other words, if let's say they host with us, they know they're going to be with us 6 months, and then they want it on their own system. Probably better just to build it on their own system. Although that migration's not tough these days, is it?
It's not bad. I mean, there are some tricks and nuances to it and stuff.
You got to know how to do it.
We've kind of figured that out. So
at
least for us, it's not bad. And we're not necessarily common either, right? Where we give you that option, and we also give you the option to migrate. Right.
Most like you're do one or the other.
Yeah, most of the time you're going to find one or the other, right?
Yeah. Okay. So let's say you're going out to outsource this function to somebody. What are the pitfalls you should be looking out for? What do you want to make sure they have their ducks in a row on? Yeah.
I mean, I think I would mostly worry about, where the development is being done. I think that you still need people that know what they're doing to build you a good platform, right?
Yeah.
And I think it would be tempting. Like if I was looking for something like this, I think it would be tempting to go find a low cost provider, outside of the United States potentially, that, would put this together for me and then, manage it cheaply. But what I think you would find is that you're going to be having more problems than you really need. Right.
Yeah.
And that's really, than you should have. Because it's not going to be set up right. You're going to have like constant failures. Like one of the things that we do is we will do unlimited support on somebody's data platform, right? And what that does is it makes us need to create very stable, robust systems that it doesn't break. So that we don't have to spend an ungodly amount of time trying to fix somebody's thing because it doesn't break, right? And if it does, it's a very simple fix. So what I would worry about is you not having that, and having something be down for a month, right?
Yeah, and offshore, the scenario you were describing, offshore is hard too because you got time zones and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But even onshore, you might say, oh, I found a guy or a couple of guys that are running a little firm, and I think they can get it done. But as you said, if it goes down, they're not available. They're busy with other stuff.
Right.
Maybe they didn't organize their disaster recovery well in the first place because it never occurred to them or whatever. Yeah, all sorts of stuff. Right.
Yeah. That disaster recovery. So we're recording this on the day of the CrowdStrike outage. So none of our stuff went down. We don't use anything like that.
Yeah.
Which, I want to make sure we remember for when we do have maybe a problem. But, we had a lot of our data sources that we were pulling data from.
A lot of those went down.
Went down, like APIs that we were pulling from and stuff. They weren't available anymore. So, obviously they're coming back online. But, it's kind of highlights that, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's one of the reasons that we host on Microsoft and specialize on that. We're not a huge company, so we want to be absolute experts on the platform that we're using.
Yeah. And that's actually this is kind of a tangent, but we've said in our episodes before, like why it's not a great idea to kind of hodgepodge stuff together with a bunch of third-party stuff. This is a really good example of why, right?
Yeah.
Like, one of those things has a problem. It takes your entire system down, right? Like if you're using Fivetran or DBT or Snowflake or whatever, all you need is for one of those companies to have a problem and your entire system is down.
Sure.
Right? On the flip side, you could say, well, Microsoft has a problem, your entire thing.
Right.
Of course.
It's all in one basket.
But at least, I would have it does happen, but it's very seldom that Microsoft has an outage that impacts a ton of stuff.
Yeah. Gosh, it's been a long time since I can remember a cloud outage that impacted at least our customers or us.
Right. Yeah, that's been a very long time.
They've gotten good at it. Wow, better knock on wood. Considering what just happened.
Yeah. And we also build stuff very intentionally in proven technologies, right?
Yeah.
Like it's tempting. You have to avoid the temptation of going after the new shiny object, right? Because we're building for clients that are going to rely on this stuff. And, it's one of the reasons why we weren't super fast to jump on like the Snowflake and Databricks train, because one, it was like, okay, this is doing the same thing that we can do in these other tools.
With added cost.
Like we don't want to jump on something that's brand new because it's just where we want stability. That's what we value.
Yeah, you got to balance that, right? You don't want to miss the train if there's something awesome that's new. So you got to always be testing it and watching it. But yeah, don't put the bulk of your customer load on it until you know that it's wired.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And people do get seduced by the shiny object. Mm-hmm. I've seen, pretty good sized companies just switch to the shiny object and not have a good time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
All right. Good discussion. Thanks, Caleb.
Of course.
If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. We'd be grateful. You can visit our website at bluemargin.com for more insights and resources. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next episode.